What is up, guys? So, this is going to be the very first episode of hopefully an ongoing series, unless I get bored of it, called Ranking Discographies. Um, Not original by any means. There's plenty of other people here on YouTube that have done shit like this, but it's been something that I've been thinking about for a little while, and I think it might be interesting to try it out, see how it goes. So basically that the name of the series is self-explanatory. I'll be ranking bands' discographies, just the albums, no EPs, no demos, just full lengths. Um, if you have any suggestions of future bands' discographies you want me to rank or that you would like to see, put it in the description and I will consider it. Obviously, I'm not going to do it if the band only has like 2 or 3 albums. I would say in order for it to be interesting, they would need to have at least 4 full lengths, to make it worth doing a video for it. Yeah. So I figured it was appropriate. I figured it would be very appropriate for episode 1 to be ranking Motley Crue's studio album discography. Now, this is my ranking of their albums, not yours, mine. Okay? If you have a different order you would rank them in, put it in the comments. Let's be civilized about this because I guarantee you, how I've ranked their albums is not going to be like most people. I'll tell you that right now. Let's just say I've gotten arguments with people about how I rank Motley Crue's discography. So let's get started. All right, so Motley Crue has 9 studio albums, so we'll start at number 9. All right, so we have Theater of Pain comes in at number 9. Now, again, just because it is ranked the lowest does not mean I don't like it. I do like this album. I think it's a great album. I think it's very underrated. Despite this, in my opinion, being their weakest album, I still feel like there are a lot of strong songs on this album, like Louder Than Hell, Keep Your Eye on the Money, Use It or Lose It, Fight for Your Rights, especially Fight for Your Rights. Fucking great track, great lyrics, very underrated. But mainly the 2 songs that people think of when they hear this album are Home Sweet Home and Smoking in the Boys Room, But, yeah. But in terms of the songs and stuff, I just feel like this is their weakest. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you would agree with me on that. So, yeah. Theater of Pain comes in at number 9. And if I own the albums, I'll show them. If I don't, then oh well. Alright, so coming in at number 8, we have New Tattoo. Alright, so yeah, this album, so coming off the heels of Generation Swine, you had New Tattoo, which saw Motley Crue going back, kind of pretty much to the Dr. Feelgood style of, the hard rocks, the sleazy hard rock sound. Tommy didn't do drums on this album. They had Randy Castillo from Ozzy's solo band playing drums on this album. Very good album, very underrated as well. A lot of really good songs on here, like Hell on High Heels. That is a really great track. First Band on the Moon, She Needs Rock and Roll. Hollywood Ending is another great one. This is just a great album. And I really don't feel like it gets the praise it deserves. It's just a really good album. Not their best, obviously, but it was them going back to the, like I said, to the Dr. Feelgood style, which is what people wanted, but then people bitched that this album sucked, which it doesn't suck. It's a good album. So yeah. That's just what I get from it. So yeah, great album. I love the fucking album artwork. I actually contemplated for the longest time getting this tattooed on me. But I don't know if that's going to happen, but yeah. So yeah, number 8, that is New Tattoo. Coming in at number 7, we have Girls, Girls, Girls. Again, kind of like Theater of Pain, you know, there's really only a couple tracks on this album that get constant, you know, play, that being Wild Side and Girls, Girls, Girls. However, there are still many other great tracks on this album that do not get enough attention, like Dancing on Glass, All in the Name of Rock and Roll, You're All I Need, which You're All I Need, in my opinion, is probably the best ballad Motley Crue's ever done. And yes, I know the story behind the ballad, so please don't put that in the comments. Because I see that all the time when people are like, oh, well, people that like that song don't really know what it's about. I'm like, if you listen to the lyrics, it's very clear what that song is about. So, yeah. But yeah, great album, just fucking sleazy fucking rock and roll. Like I said, very underrated. A lot of songs on here definitely need more attention, so yeah. That's number 7, Girls, Girls, Girls. Now, how I've ranked the next two, I know will probably raise some what the fucks, but, you know, like I said, this is how I rank it. Alright, coming in at number 6, we have Dr. Feelgood. So, Dr. Feelgood, to many, I wouldn't say to many people, but I would say to, in the mainstream eyes, this is Motley Crue's best album, which is, in my opinion, is definitely not their best album. Granted, you know, half the songs on the album were fucking hits. There's still, I mean, there's still a lot of, you know, like, I feel like there was still a lot of filler on this album, you know, but like I said, this is still a good album, nonetheless, obviously, because like I said, you know, you had the fucking hits, you got Kickstart My Heart, title track, Don't Go Away Mad, but then you have tracks that don't get as much praise, like Slice of Your Pie, which is one of my favorites, Sticky Sweet is another good one, you know. Time for Change is kind of, you know, you could tell that was just kind of like something that was just kind of a little ballady kind of song that was just thrown together, you know, kind of cheesy, but, you know. But yeah, like I said, I'll probably get some shit for not ranking this album high enough, but yeah, sorry. So yeah. That is number 6, Dr. Feelgood. Ugh. Alrighty. Coming at number 5, we have Generation Swine. Now, I know what a lot of you are thinking, why the fuck is this album ranked so high? Because most people consider this album to be their worst album. However, I think this is a really fucking good album. I am one of the few people that I see that actually defends this fucking album. There are just so many good songs on here that get overlooked. Afraid, the title track, Confessions, Glitter, Anybody Out There, A Rat Like Me. I mean, there are just so many goddamn good songs on this album. I just think that, you know, I mean, this was the album that Motley Crue was supposed to make their comeback, quote unquote, with, you know, because Vince was back in the band. So people were expecting Dr. Feelgood Part 2. So when they heard this, they were like, well, what the fuck? This doesn't sound like Dr. Feelgood. This is, you know, Motley Crue trying to be, you know, what some people said, Motley Crue trying to be fucking, you know, 9 Inch Nails, or, you know, just all that, you know, fucking weird industrial shit that was popular at the time. But Motley Crue was not the only band that did kind of one of these experimental albums. Wasp did it with KFD, and I think KFD is one of Wasp's best albums. So, I mean, I don't know, just like I said, I think this is a really fucking good album. It's one of my favorite Crue albums. That's why I have it ranked so high. If you're one of those people, especially if you were one of those people back in the day and you grew up with Motley Crue, and when this album came out you were just kind of like, this sucks, go back and give another listen. You know, give it a good, long listen. You know, and you may change your mind, because I didn't like this album when I first heard it either, but when I started listening to it more, I started appreciating it a lot more. And in terms of lyrics and stuff, it's definitely some of the Crue's best. So yeah. So yeah, that is Generation Swine at number 5. Ugh, man. Okay, coming in at number 4, we have the self-titled Motley Crue album with John Corabi on vocals. Surprisingly, there are a shit ton of people that hail this as their best album, and I totally understand that, because this album is just so fucking heavy. There's tons of great songs on here, like Power to the Music, Uncle Jack, Hooligan's Holiday. I mean, I'm literally just reading the tracks without skipping any tracks, because every track is fucking great. And then you got the bonus tracks that came with the re-released version, like Living in the Know and fucking Hypnotized. I mean, holy shit, man. Such a kick-ass fucking album. Again, this is another album that a lot of people hated when it first came out, you know, because they were like, oh, it's not Motley Crue without Vince on vocals. But I mean, this is just such a damn good album. I mean, if you don't call this a Motley Crue album, you can definitely, you know, it's a lot more easier to like. But I have no problem with calling it a Motley Crue album. But it is a Motley Crue album, but you know what I mean. But yeah, holy shit. Great fucking album. Out fucking standing. It's number 4 with the self-titled album. Alright. Now we're getting into the top 3. Oh boy. At number 3 we have Saints of Los Angeles. It's a slipcase, so this is the actual album cover. God, dude, this is such a great fucking album. This is, I mean, this album is just like, I'm trying to find the words to explain myself, but this album is just, they went back to the I wouldn't say they went back to, but this album just blew my fucking mind when it came out, because it was so goddamn good. Just so many fucking good tracks on here. Face Down in the Dirt, Down at the Whiskey, title track, of course, Animal in Me, Welcome to the Machine, Chicks Equal Trouble, fucking Going Out Swinging, Just Another Psycho. God damn, man. I could literally name off every fucking track. Such a great, great album. And, I mean, I know there was talks about them doing an album, if they were going to do an album or not for the final tour or whatever, and I'm kind of glad they didn't, because, I mean, as much as I love Motley Crue, I really don't think they would have been able to top this album, because this is just such a great album, and I just extremely underrated. I don't really feel like it gets the praise it deserves, you know. Just such a great fucking ass-kicking hard rock album. Definitely one of my favorites for sure. So yeah, it's Motley Crue, Saints of Los Angeles at number 3. Alright, so now most of you that know the discography know the 2 albums that are left. But the question is, which one got the number 1 spot? Well, if you know me and you know my channel, you already know which album got the number 1 spot. So, yeah. At number 2, we have Shout at the Devil. So, yeah, I mean, fuck. Shout at the Devil is another one. I would say this one, Too Fast for Love, and the self-titled album are definitely the 3 albums that I feel like just they get thrown around as their best album. And I mean, I really don't need to say shit about this album. This album is fucking godlike, legendary. You know, just every track is great. I don't even need to list off the fucking tracks, because if you haven't heard this album, then that's fucking sad. So yeah, not really much else I need to say, you know. Crue's breakthrough album for sure. So yeah. That is Shout at the Devil at number 2. At number 1, of course, we have Too Fast for Love. Now, it's Too Fast for Love. It's like I said, it's mainly those 3 albums that I said. Those are the 3 albums that get tossed around as which one is their best. But you know, with Too Fast for Love and Shout Out the Devil, it really goes back and forth between people. It's pretty 50-50. But I've always felt Too Fast for Love was their strongest album. Just definitely had the most mixture of, you know, the punk rock, the heavy metal, you know, the glam rock from the 70s and shit. Just an outstanding album. Every track is good. And you'll notice that I'm showing the Leather Records version because the Leather Records version is so much fucking better than the version that Elektra re-released. So, yeah. If you haven't heard the Leather Records version of Too Fast for Love for whatever reason, you know, definitely go check it out. I know it's on fucking YouTube, so you guys know how to use your search box. So, yeah. But, yeah, this is number 1. This is, in my opinion, the Crue's best album. And not to mention, one of my all-time favorite albums. It's Too Fast for Love at number 1. Alright, guys. So, that is it. Again, let me know what you thought in the comments. If you want to rank, if you have a different order of how you'd rank the albums, definitely throw that in the comments as well. And, yeah. So, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.